All right, hat tip to those of you who challenged me by asking me questions. I get very curious why women file the majority of divorces. Because I know from my own experience and from those of my friends and women that have gone through breakups how heartbreaking it was, how devastated we felt, and how much pain and anguish we went through for years before we finally said, I can't do this anymore. And that's why we left. Now, someone left a comment, I think it was JT, that there are women who file for divorces because they get bored. They get bored. And I'm sure there are women who are very ruthless and careless and narcissistic who act this way. So I decided to look it up. Now, I'm going to say that there are psychopaths, sociopaths, people like Amber Heard who just use men and divorce them, you know. I mean, that what is a small percentage of the population likely. I've also spoken with women who said, like in my coaching calls, I didn't really love him, but he was a good friend, and I never felt attracted to him, but we were good friends, so we got married, and I didn't even feel a sex drive at all. And then I met this guy, and I felt a sex drive, you know. But I think those are outliers. I think for the most part, when women get married, they are in love with the guy, and usually it's the woman pushing for marriage because she's in love with the guy. Like, we want to fall in love. Now, my experience is I asked over the years repeatedly for let's do this, and it was always no, no, no. And that I think that when I was really unhappy, I was finally ready to leave, but he was for a long time during those years I was taking Vicodin, and he decided that I don't like how cold Charizard is getting. So when the kids are older, I'm going to leave her. And then later, when we were getting along and I was still unhappy, he was like, well, I'm not unhappy. I don't know why you're unhappy. I don't want to go to therapy. So, just in my own personal example, I saw I'm not going to divorce. I'm going to put up with it. Well, I did that too. And then later, I saw just an inability and not caring about the relationship at all and how I felt. And I think that's the reason that most women file for divorce. It's 70% of women file for divorce, but among college educated women, it's 90% because we don't have to stay with guys that mistreat us, invalidate us, ignore us, abuse us. And that's why women file for divorce, whereas men are willing to put up with a lot more because they're not as emotionally attuned to the relationship going downhill, or they have more to lose financially. I think a lot of guys, in fact, I have a friend she's kind of a friend. Um, she's having an affair with this guy. He's married. And I know I'm against that, but apparently he and his wife are just not getting along at all. But they have a bunch of businesses together. And he doesn't want to divorce his wife because he's very unhappy with her. But he doesn't want to lose half of his business that he has spent years building up. And so he's not going to file for divorce. He's just going to have his outside life. And I think that could be a reason men don't file for divorce is the financial consequences. And that is something I want to make a separate video about. But I was just going on Google why women are more likely to file for divorce than men, and there's a study that I think Michael Rosenberg did showing that 70% of divorces are initiated by women, and that number rises, like I said, to 90% for college educated women. And that's a study, but I'm very interested in what this gentleman had to say because he is a divorce attorney. So he would know from actually speaking to people and not just doing a study of numbers. And he said the number one reason is that women are no longer dream of being housewives. They want satisfying careers and marriages. Okay, and so what also happens for a lot of women is even when both people in the relationship are working, women are still more likely to do more of the child rearing and more of the housework and feeling more stress and feeling resentful, like this isn't serving me. Not in all couples, but more often. Number 2, women look forward to true equality of the sexes. Men look backward to the golden age of marriage. And with that, women are also marrying someone who doesn't check all their boxes and someone that they're trying to change, and then their guy doesn't change. They're not as willing to accept the guy as he is. They want him to change, and when he doesn't, they're more likely to be disappointed. Number 3, and this is the one I think is the big one, women are less willing to accept unhappy relationships than men. Men have been taught to seek happiness outside their marriages. And modern women are more independent than most men think, and they're unwilling to accept unhappy relationships month after month, year after year, with no hope of change. Often men don't even realize that they're in a failing relationship until their wives say, "I want a divorce." I have often heard male divorce clients state, "I thought everything was fine. I was blindsided by this divorce." So either the women are not communicating well or the men aren't listening. And what I really think is a lot of people are neglecting their relationships. And I think women are less apt to want to stay married when the relationship is neglected because we are more relational. We care about our relationships and we want our relationships to thrive. We're the first ones to say, "Hey, honey, let's go on a date night. Hey, let's go to some therapy. Hey, let's read this book together." And the guy keeps saying no, 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 no. Then we want a divorce, and he's like, "What happened?" I think that is a big reason. That is a big reason because a lot of men are taught that they shouldn't feel things, that they shouldn't communicate their feelings. But women, we need your feelings. We want your feelings. My bookkeeping clients are very sensual men, but even they have trouble telling their women. I teach them, tell your wife, if you haven't had sex for a while and you're here because you haven't had any bookkeeping for a while, is, "I miss how it used to be between us. Do you miss that too? It's lonely here without you." And they're like, "Oh my God, I've never said that. I could never say that. I just resigned myself to never having sex." Or I'm like, "Why don't we ever have sex?" And the woman is the one that's going to be in pain about it. So that's what guys have to learn. Women are out working, and that's the role. A lot of guys are stepping into that role of being more emotionally connected. Number 4, and this is a big one. Is a big one that men won't do it. They're they're more willing to put up with it, but also men often believe they have more to lose in divorce than women. I think that's the big one, guys, because the divorce courts are stacked against the guy. He's going to lose half of everything he ever worked for. Now, I have opinions about this when there are children involved, but I'm going to keep that for a separate video. Right now, there are a lot of men who feel like, "I don't even want to get married because the divorce courts are against me. I'm going to get plundered. So I don't want to get the divorce. I've built up this business and she's going to get half." I've heard guys say that too, actually. I have a great business. We have all these properties. I own all this stuff. I've worked my whole life. I sacrificed my whole life. I built up this empire of whatever savings I have, and if I divorce her, she's going to get half. Not only do I don't want to lose half, I don't want to give it to her. I'll just stay married to her. She's not that bad. That's a big one for the guys, but women don't care because they're going to get half of everything, and so they don't care. They didn't have to work for it. They worked in the home. So number 5, women are quicker to consult a lawyer than men. And number 6, which is I think related to number 3, women are much more aware of the emotional health of their marriages than men. If the marriage is a traditional one, women are going to pick up on any problems with the marriage and the children before a man would. Women notice that their husbands regularly go out for drinks after work with their co-workers and spend evenings and weekends entertaining clients for dinner or a round of golf. Meanwhile, they may not have spent any quality time together as a couple without the children in months or years. It is my opinion that the same reasons that cause a marriage to fail motivates women more than men to seek a divorce. Lack of communication, lack of empathy, lack of feeling supported by your spouse, and lack of emotional growth generally distress women more than men, making women more likely to file for divorce than men. Women are more observant of the red flags than men, so men are often shocked and surprised when their wives file for divorce. It's the same thing as the guy saying, going to the therapist's office going, my wife is just so frigid. She never wants to have sex with me. She's just a cold bitch. And then the guy brings the woman in and is going, what's going on with the sex? What's going on? And she's like, well, he comes in 3 seconds. He doesn't care how I feel. He only touches me when he wants to slide it in. He's a terrible lover. And then you tell the guy, I have good news for you. You're the reason it's not happening, and you can fix it. And the guy, I think a lot of guys are just very oblivious. Now, I know there are women who cheat, women who are narcissistic like Amber Heard. Amber Heard woke me up to the evil nature of women because I come from a world, my mom, my stepmom, my grandmothers, my aunts, my entire life, I am surrounded by women who are nurturing, loving, and kind. I do not come from a world of women who cheat. I've also been around women who are codependent, who attach to men too easily, like the one down position. The first time I saw women in the grandiose bullying position was Amber Heard, and it woke me up, and I realized there are so many women who rage on their men and go off on men and who are volatile. I also know there are women who are okay with cheating. I read a book recently called The Erotic Life of the American Wife or something, and these women talk about why they were cheating is to feel free, because marriage is very trapping. It's so important that, women, we want to feel some excitement. You guys can just see a breast and want to slide it in, you're good. But we need more than just your penis. We want to feel a connection with you. We want some excitement with you. And when we don't feel it, we're going to get bored with the sex, I think. But, I think it's a tall order to stay attracted to someone that long. But it doesn't mean that cheating is okay. I think that, to sum it up, it seems to me, I want to know what you guys think, based on the couples that you know, where the woman filed for divorce or the man filed for divorce, based on your own personal experience and what you saw. I'm curious what you think are the reasons for the divorce, because I think the main reasons are the relationship has been emotionally deficient for a long time and it was neglected, either because both parties neglected it, or maybe the woman was pushing for therapy and the man didn't want to go, but there was emotional neglect in the relationship, or some kind of abuse, alcoholism, cheating, a betrayal, an infidelity. Or number 2, the marriage is really bad. The woman likes the lifestyle he offers her. She doesn't want to leave, and he is miserable. But he's not going to divorce her because she would get half of his money, and he doesn't want to part with that, And she has nothing to lose by filing for divorce, especially if he earns more of the money, because she's going to get some of the money. But I've even known women who had to pay child support when they divorced. They just